Do you think it's harder for international students to break into the industry?
What, in the UK?
Are you talking in the UK or in your home country?
No, in UK.
It shouldn't be, no.
Not that I've worked with people from all over the world.
Why is that? Because of colloquialisms, or
Sorry?
why would it be?
Oh,
hard,
no,
do
I'm
you
thinking like in terms of not just placements, but like actual working here afterwards, like.
Allowed visa and
Yeah, with
might
visa
be-
issues.
okay, yeah, that is an issue.
Yeah.
I'm gonna straight up.
Yeah.
It can be a problem, but again, it depends. Basically, you've got to know where you come from, not where you come. I mean, as in what the visa is, what issues there might be, and when speaking to people, know the answers to the or know what they're going to ask and have those answers ready. So, I mean, I'm dealing with it at the moment with a couple of people, and you've just got to know what the parameters are, what you can do, what you can't do, what's legal, what's not legal, and just make sure that you.
So if an agency wants to give a placement to a non-EU,
Placements are fine. Placements
they
are.
can go on as long as.
Placements can go on, unfortunately, for as long as they want. It's when it comes to hiring and jobs wise, you know, sponsorship. Some agencies will, some agencies won't. It depends if you've got an ancestral visa, if a spousal visa, if you've got. There's literally it's changing. It just changed this year as well. There's a point system and number of years you're allowed in now, and I think there's a student thing as well.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Because I think you can get like a 2-year visa after you finish.
That's right,
uni,
you can.
so.
Yeah, you can. So and then once you get to that point, you can apply for citizen or something else that you can stay for another 4 years, and by that point you can already get what's the word? You can
Married.
Well, that too. But you could be here for however long. Citizenship. You can get citizenship after that. So. There are ways around it, but you really have to know what you're talking about, or at least go to someone, either a lawyer or someone like myself, who no, I don't sound like I know what I'm talking about, but who should know what they're talking about, and then
Just look it up.
yeah, very quickly. Who knows all the ins and outs? But yes, you just have to be on the ball with that one.
There are ways as well. Like the Proximity Network was a worldwide network. And we had a lot of creators from our South African office, because we would go over there as well, and the company would sponsor that and sort that out. So if it's the international kind of creative bodies, the bigger agencies that do have various sort of locations, there are ways, if there's one in sort of your home country or a country that's nearer to get to, like that you don't need the visa to, you can always work up there and sort of build up experience and sort of prove yourself if you like. And then when you apply to the London office, they're far more likely just to say, look, yes, we've got this person, we are going to, they have got a job, we are going to sponsor them to be here. So there's always ways to sort of get in there, and if you are good, you will.
Well, I mean, that's on the back of if you're good, they'll sponsor you. It's that simple, really. If you proved yourself, let's say you were doing a placement, you were there for a month or two, you produced outstanding work, so you won a pitch. They're not going to want to get rid of you, type thing. They would. I mean, sponsorship is sort of the last thing, but they will do that if they feel that you're part of. Yeah, you're valuable to them, definitely.
I don't think you can work in the States. I mean, that's almost impossible.
The States is something else. The States is another issue. Talking from experience, I don't work with agencies in America, simply because the legalities there are too numerous, and being in the UK, it's too problematic. But we do work with, in Dubai we do work with New Zealand and Australia. And there are ways and means of accommodating. So,
yeah. Can I take the microphone on the front, please? It's roughly 3:15. I'd like to probably take about another 2 or 3 questions if I could, please, because I'd just like to give the guests just a little 5 minutes to take a breather, because I know there's a number of third years who want to sort of get sort of a more personal sort of comment from some of the visitors today. So I'll take another 2 or 3 questions. So please be thinking about those. Okay, one from right.
Can I ask you, please, because there's loads of international students, and I'd love to travel the world, so how can I connect? Is there any area in design where I can take my language abilities into my advantage and connect it with traveling around the world? Is there any area in design where I can, travel around and work on different international projects and not just stay on one place in one country my whole life? If there works anything like that.
There are ways.
Mm-hmm.
There's always ways.
Is it like a freelance way?
Freelance would be very difficult
Mm-hmm.
because it's difficult for freelancers sort of in a local area and staying in one place. It's as a company, if we hire freelancers, you want to know that they'll be there, and if you enjoy their work, that they'll still be there next week. So it's very difficult as freelance. But again, going back to sort of the bigger company, the AMV network, the creative network, they was sort of within the sort of the company, they allow people to travel throughout the agencies. So there was the AMV group, there was the BBDO group, and there was the Proximity Worldwide group. And we would, for instance, I looked after an Italian art director and stroke designer from our Proximity Italia sort of office, and she was with us for a month, and then she went off to another one of the proximity agents doing design there, but it's depending on the size of the agency, she'd either be doing design or art direction. And that's, some companies do specialise in kind of bringing in talent from all over the place, and that was one of the nice things about the AMV group, as one of the bonuses of working within a big corporation, was that they, for the lucky few, and again it's been very, very good, you have to be very good for them to think that you're worth sending somewhere to sort of go through to be honest, it's more like a reward. They're not going to just do that for you in general. They want to sort of show, well, look, if you work really hard here, we will help you do this. And everyone, all the other kind of sort of art directors and designers, and everyone was like, God, that'd be great, I'm going to prove myself. So it's just a way they kind of get everyone to work a little bit harder.
So
there are ways.
Any other way rather than through the agency?
You can do it off your own back. There's always ways of doing it, but it's so difficult. It would be, it's finding jobs. You would have to have an international reputation for it to be easy. There aren't any international charities that I can think of that specialise. I mean, NABS is solely for sort of London and the UK. There aren't many charities that would specialise in helping people to go around. It would have to be more off your own back, and then you'd run the risk of all people who want to do that about sort of finding the work when you get there, because you're not only going against sort of the local crowd, you're also going against people who are moving there permanently to go work in that area. And if you're a transient and people know you're a transient and you're not willing to sort of stay there for, like, say for instance, over 6 months, they may not want to work in case that the job extends and you have to go.
Can I call on Vincent, who's worked in Barcelona and in New York?
Yeah. What was the question again? Just tell me. I know.
If there is any area in design where I can travel around and work like internationally on projects and using my to put in as an advantage my language abilities.
Right.
So
which of those? Which languages?
What languages? English, Czech, Russian, Polish, German.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I think you're better off doing it off your own bat, really. If you see, in Prague, or there's an agency there that's the best agency, or wherever, in another country, like Sardinia or wherever. And there's something called Open Ad. I don't know if you've come across that. They have a student. Anyone know about that Open Ad? And they're based over in somewhere in Eastern Europe, aren't they? But they've got a London office.
They are a London office, but they do have an section.
You can target these people yourself. Really. If you see an agency coming up on your radar that you like their work, why not send them their portfolio? And I mean, when I was in Madrid, all of the talented art directors were either from South America or from London. There was no homegrown art directors in Madrid. It was weird because they just didn't have the art school system that we